All right. Well, we appreciate everybody being here today. We're here to learn a little bit about Minecraft. Our first session, we talked about the basics, like where to get it, all of that. This session, we're mainly focusing on learning about the coding component of it, which is absolutely amazing, and your kids will have a lot of fun with it. If you don't know, I mean, we have, the last time I checked, we had over 40,000 jobs, and we have probably even more now because of the pandemic, that are open, that we cannot fill because we do not have people who have proper coding skills. They don't have we don't have enough people to fill those positions. Coding, anything with cyber safety, all of those things are essential. They are so needed, and we have the opportunity to teach those things to our kids so that way they can be ready for the real world. And of course, coding is a big component of that. And Minecraft does offer that. And we're going to take a look at that. And we're also going to take a look at chemistry. There is a chemistry component that's been in place now. I think this is year 2. And it starts at the very basic level. We start with elements, then you work onto compounds, and then from compounds you create these mixtures, and it just moves on and on and on. And you actually make items that you can use in Minecraft that you can't get in your inventory. These are items that are specifically that you make, and then they're yours, and you create them. And so I'm going to show that to you. There's a lab journal that also goes with this that I will share out with you. I'm going to share the link in the chat with you. And this lab journal was developed by the people in Minecraft, and it kind of, I call it the recipe guide, because that's kind of what it is. It's like it shows you the recipes of making compounds and putting these compounds together to make these incredible mixtures and stuff. And it's not hard at all. If they all they have to do is just kind of look at that scientific, configure of NH2 or whatever, and I'll show that to you here in just a little bit. But we're going to start with coding first. And the coding component in Minecraft is really amazing because it starts at the very basic level. We've all taken our kids to that code.org. We have the hour of code, which is really awesome, and Minecraft is a big part of that. But now it's embedded within the Minecraft Education Edition, which is what we're going to be looking at today. Now, again, your kids have access to this Minecraft application on their Chromebooks. We have pushed it out. What they do to get it, they go to the white circle. If they don't have it in their apps, they don't see it, they haven't downloaded it, they go to the white circle, they go to the Google Play Store within the apps that we've provided for them. They click on it. They're going to see 5 apps. One of them will be Minecraft Education Edition. They click it and they click install. That's it. Once it installs, they go to log in. They log in using their email address, their entire email address, including the @ysc.net. You will as well to log in. That'll be your username. And of course, your password is the password you have to your email address, since this is run through Microsoft, which is like our 365 account, our email account. Once you're in, then you're in, okay? Then you can start maneuvering and getting through Minecraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up Minecraft, and I'm going to go in and sign in and open up a world so we can take a look at what the coding looks like, okay? Oh, let me go ahead and go all the way out here. Let me close this down. I want to start at the beginnings. I want you to see it from the beginning. Okay. And close this out. There we go. Come on. All right. So let me go into my applications. Here we go. And let me go ahead and start sharing. Yeah. And if you have questions along the way, please unmute your mic and ask them, because I'm going to be looking at the Minecraft screen. So I won't be looking at the Meet screen. And I want to make sure that I answer any questions. Not that I have the answers, but I might. All right. So first thing, I'm getting ready to open up Minecraft, and you're going to see that it says the word play. I'm here to tell you, we don't play Minecraft. It's a learning experience. But they use the word play because that's easy, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click play. If you're new to Minecraft, you'll want to go in here and view the library. There are lots of lessons in here. Let me just click in here really quick. You have subject kits for every subject in the curriculum. You can find worlds and lessons on Minecraft. How to play, if you're not sure how to do that, this is where I would definitely want to go. There's biomes and worlds. You want to talk about different parts around our planet. This would be a really great one to kind of get those kids to get that 3D experience. And build challenges, those are more for our advanced users, but it's a good place to start as well for the kids. Okay, so I'm going to go back out here and I'm going to go ahead and go into my world. I have a practice world here that I've been in quite a bit already today that I'm going to go into, and I'm going to host. And host means that, you know, I'm like the host of a party. I'm going to send out invitations and people can join my world. So if I just play, nobody can get in. It's just me. But I'm going to go ahead and host. Okay. All right. And I'm going to just kind of move over here and I'm going to push the escape button just so one of my kiddos can get in. And here's the join code. This is what you will give to your students to join a world. You can have right now on this date of September the 18th, you can have up to 30 people in a world. But starting next week, there's going to be an update and you can have as many as 40 in a world, which that's great. They're going to increase that. There's going to be some other updates as well. So I can also do a share link, and the share link will allow me to send this link. I copy this link and I can send it directly, you'll see, to Google Classroom, and then the kids can go in there and share out the world, or I could put it in a Meet or whatever and share that out with my students, and then they can join my world. And you're going to see that my son, he's just joined the world and he has a little different icon than me because I'm the king of the world. Because I'm the host, I get to control everything, and Eric is in there as a player. He's still able to do things, but I have the control because I'm the teacher, right? Okay. All right. So now coding. So let me get back in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to kind of walk over here by myself. So I need to move away from everything because I have some stuff I want to build. Okay. So now that I'm by myself, I want to start coding. So what your kids do is they push the C button. As soon as you push the C button, you're going to be able to start coding. Click C. Okay, and you're going to see that this is coming up here, and these are my projects. These are projects that I have worked on. All right. The test one, that's one I just was working on yesterday. I'll take a look at that one in a minute. This is through Make Code. The first time you open it up, it might ask you, do you want to use Tinker? Do you want to use Make Code? Use Make Code because they already have the account in it because it's part of our 360, our Office 360. So use the Make Code. Once you're in, then it will remember your codes for you. It will remember all of the different things that you've done. But if you want your kids to have a little bit of pre-learning, look at these tutorials that they have down here. They have tutorials, and there's still even more. There's a little arrow here. I don't know if you can see it, but I can go farther, and there's even more. There's tutorials on how to make it rain chickens. That might be kind of fun, maybe not. All different types of tutorials here on how to start to code, coding mobs, aquatic fun. All of this stuff is in here. So you could actually go in and see what it looks like, and then you could say, okay, kids, you're gonna go into this world, and I want you to try to code this or that, and they can start to build from learning how to build it. Or if you don't want them to do that, you want them just to start specifically from scratch, we're going to start a new project. If I click new project, I have to give it a name, new. I'm just going to call it new, create. Okay. And this looks a lot like code.org. It's all the blocks, right? It's all the blocks. I'm not going to go all into this about what each piece of these means because there's a lot of different pieces here. All I'm going to tell you is you've got your loops, you've got your logic, you've got you've got this agent, so you can actually make him move, and they have to think about Okay, if he's going to move forward, and then he's going to turn to the left, and then he's going to move forward. So they're going to have to think about all those parts and how to code that together. Okay, and if I click in here, let me show you. So agent moves forward. I could change that and make it backwards, left, right, down. So it's already all in here for them. All they're doing is putting the pieces together, and then they run the code. And if the code doesn't work, then they have to figure out why. They have to go back into their code and figure out why it's not working. Okay. They always need to use this one on start. This is what you're going to do on start. So when you hit the play button, that's what it will do. Okay. You're not going to actually see him because I think he's kind of behind me, but as soon as I hit that C button, my little robot that has my name attached to him, he's standing right next to me, because that's what happens. The robot it just appears there. Okay. And then I'm able to use him to do things for me. I can have him build for me, because placing blocks is really fun. But if I'm making a huge building that maybe is 10 blocks up, 10 by 10 by 10, right? That's going to take me a little bit of time to do, especially if I'm new and I'm still trying to figure out like how to place those blocks. But I can have my coding agent do it by simply just going in here and playing with the code and figuring out how I can make him do 10 blocks in a row and then turn to the left, and then 10 more blocks in a row and turn to the left. And wow, that's almost, if we're making a square, he's going to do that 4 times. How much, you start to think about all of the logic that goes with that, and then they start to build their code. And then you can also then talk about working on what are they called? Functions, and how to do repeat loops and things like that as they're moving along through. Now, you're not a coder. Please don't think this is not for you, because this is for you as well. It's okay if you don't know how to code. That's perfectly fine. There's with all those tutorials that are in there for your students, just watching them go in here and doing this process, you don't have to know anything about code. And you just start with the blocks and just start gradually. What's really cool about the coding here in Minecraft is I have this, right? I have these blocks. But if I go here to the JavaScript, it's going to show me what it looks like in JavaScript code. So now I'm going to see what it actually looks like if I were to write this code out. So I've gone from the blocks to the code, but there's even one more. Now they have Python in here. So now it's going to show me what it looks like in Python. So here, if they're learning from the blocks, they figured out how to make their agent move and throw blocks down and build. Now they can take that code from the blocks and they can see what it looks like in real code. And we all know what happens when we start learning how to read, right? Where we're hearing people read to us and we're starting to make that connection from the word and there's that word over there that starts with an A. They're starting to make that connection. They're going to make that connection here as well. And we don't have to know this gobbledygook. We don't have to know it. What's important is that they're starting to see that connection, and pretty soon you may have them writing in JavaScript. And I think I saw that Mr. Ferraro is in here, and I know he's really good at getting his kids to do a lot of this stuff. So this really excites me because of all of the things that I can code in Minecraft. We can, you can do mobs and you can do gameplay. You can even do other players. So like you say, if a player, they can put parameters on it. If a player moves here, or if a player does this, this is what's going to happen. So they're doing like cause and effect, which is what they call an if and statement, right? So they're starting to make, they can start to make those connections again and using logic to do that. Are there any questions about kind of getting started with this? No? Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and close this piece of code out, because what I want to do, let me go back home. I should have gone back home. Come on. There we go. I'm going to go to the test one that I did yesterday. There's a couple of us that were in this world together yesterday, and we were talking about making an aquarium. So I'm going to go in here to test, because I just want to show you what it kind of looks like. Okay. And this is this is my code right here. I have just two little pieces of code. Okay. One of the pieces is it's gonna say, I want you to make slide, and then I want you to make slide again, and you'll see that it says it's going to repeat it 4 times. It's going to repeat it 4 times, so it's going to do 4 and 4, and then it's going to repeat all of that 5 times, which means it's going to be quite big. And this function here, which is blue, is this right here. And so what I said was, all right, for this function, what a function is like a little program within the program. I want you to repeat 10 times. I want you to place the blocks. Okay. And I want you place a block and move forward, place a block and move forward. So they're going to place 10 blocks, and then you're going to turn to the right. And if you do that 10 times, you do the blocks 10 times and you turn to the right. You're doing one row and you're turning to the right. So now if we do that 4 times, we're making a square, right? And then up, and then they're making another square. So this is 2 levels. And then they do that 5 times, which would be 10 levels. So let's see what it looks like. And again, all I did was, I just kind of put this together. But what I could have done is I could have just done the repeat, the loops right in there, and had my builder. I use a builder instead of my agent. They have agent in here, and you can watch him do it, but they also have the builder, and it's like invisible. You just see it happening, and that's what you're going to see right here. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to kind of go up so you can kind of see it. Okay, there's 2. So now now it should do it again. Yep, there it is. There's one row, and then 2 rows. So that's number 2. And that's going to go 1 row, and then 2 rows. It's number 3. And you see how it's building. And it's just kind of neat how it's working. All right. And I think it's already done it 5 times. So I think we're good. And I could sit here and build this if I wanted to, but you know what? This would probably take me like a long time to build, is I'm not super proficient in placing the blocks, especially when I'm using my wireless mouse. For some reason, I have trouble with that. So, but my builder did it in less than a minute. He built the whole thing, and now it's all done. I could then add another part to it, to my program, if I wanted to. Now I could have him, if figure out where he is at the end here, and then say, okay, now we're going to have him move here and do this, and I can have him build something else. In the coding, you can also have them dig holes for you, and we've done that to create gardens, because you can grow your food in Minecraft. You can make beautiful gardens. You can make bamboo. You can make tomato plants, all different types of things in Minecraft. And so you could have your builder, you could have your agent, your coding agent, do that for you. And that's a really cool thing that we can do. And again, to get there, all I did was push C. Once you push C, it's going to take you there. Now I've already done this, and if I can just go back home, and it saves it automatically. I don't have to push save or anything. It's just going to save it. And so now all of my I have probably lots of them that are in here. I can delete them if I want to. I don't have to leave them in here, but it does remember, because it's remembering my account. This is all up in the cloud. Everything that's in the code builder is in the cloud. And that makes it nice as well. So even our little guys, they can figure out that, okay, I'm going to move forward by 1, and then I'm going to put a block. And then, it's all about that logic, and even, stepping it and going through the process, acting it out first. That's always helpful to me. Okay, if I'm going straight, I'm going to turn to the left this time. I have to, that's how I work through it. And so I know that's how our little guys work through it, or even some of our big guys work through it that way. But giving them that opportunity to do that, it's good for our problem solving skills. And again, I always go back to our student agency, because we want our kids to be able to think for themselves, and to be proud of what they're doing. And what better way of doing that than look at the code I wrote. Look at what I did. I did this. I made this, and I made this by coding my agent, by by writing this code. And because even though they're placing those blocks within, those, they look like little Legos, but even by place, they're still writing the code. They're still having to process it and figure out what piece goes next and putting them in the correct order. So that way the agent or the builder will do exactly what they want it to do. Are there any questions about this part? Are we good? So I want to give us some time for the chemistry component because there's quite a lot in there. Quite a lot in there. And I want to show that to you as well. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close down my builder here. Okay. And I'm going to go over here. Oh, he started building again. I'm going to go over here. And I'm in creative mode, which means I have access to my entire inventory. So I'm going to click on E for inventory. I know, kind of weird, E inventory, but we call it the everything tory because that's what it has, everything in it. And I'm going to go ahead and search for some tables. So up here, you can search. I'm going to search for table here. And we have a crafting table and we have a lab table. I'm going to put my lab table down in here. And I want to get the element constructor. And I want to get the compound creator. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right, so in Minecraft, I mentioned to you that you have the ability to create elements. And you take those elements, you put them together, and you make compounds. Then you take those compounds and you push them together to create, just like it's not really a mixture, but it's kind of like a mixture. And then you take that and then you make, and then you use that to create objects in Minecraft. So they're having to do a lot of skills to do that. And you're like, oh my gosh, my little guys, because I know somebody's thinking about the little ones. They can do this. Trust me. I know that they can do this. I taught first grade for a long time, and I've actually even worked with some first graders doing some of this, and they were able to do this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the element constructor. And down in my hotbar here, you'll see that things are moving as I put my as I change the numbers. I click on the number, it puts that item into my hand. So right now I have the constructor in my hand. I'm going to put it right there. Okay, and I'm going to right click on it. Oops, this is the lab table. There we go. This is the element constructor. Now, what does this look like? This looks like when we want to, we have the protons and we have the electrons and we have the neutrons. So if I know how many protons a specific element has, let's go with 1, because I do know that there is an element that has 1 proton, has 1 electron, and has 1 neutron. And you'll see what happened right here. Okay, I made hydrogen. Okay, and I can take this hydrogen and I can put it either in my inventory closet, like where everything is, or I can put it in my hotbar. I have the choice. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it down in my hotbar. Okay, so I just made some hydrogen. So if I increase, no, it doesn't do the whole isotope thing as of yet. If I did two protons, 2 electrons, and 1 neutron, made helium. It stayed at helium when I left it at 2. I can put that, I'm going to put that right up here. Okay, so you'll see how we can do this. They can go through the periodic table and they can actually start to create some of those elements. If I had this when I was learning about neutrons, protons, and electrons, it would have been so solidified in my head. I think I would have done, I did pretty well with some of this stuff, but I think I would have really exploded with it, because this would have really helped me to see it, to visually see it, because you're like, oh, atoms are so tiny we can't see them, and even trying to draw them out. But now I'm actually making them, and I understand what the concept of creating them, what it actually looks like. So I love this. I think this is a really great way to introduce elements to kids by using it through the Minecraft. So that's the element constructor. So now with the element constructor, now that if I make elements, now I can take those elements and I can make compounds. I can put them together, can combine them together. And that's what a compound is. It's taking more than one element and putting it together. But before I show that to you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this document. Let me find it. It's right here. Okay. This is the lab journal from Minecraft. And I will give you the link to this here in just a minute. Okay. This is the chemistry lab journal, and it talks about the different tables and they're all in the inventory for you. Here's the element constructor, the compound creator, the lab table, and the material reducer. We need to look at that one as well. And it talks about what they do. It talks about what each table does. So I'm going to scroll down to where you can see the compounds and where you can see the cookbook, as I call it, with the recipes. Okay. So right here, it's showing me what the image of the actual compound is. It's giving me the compound name, and these are real things. This is not just made up for Minecraft. This is what we see in real life. This is the chemical formula for it. Okay. So in order to make this formula, I'm going to first have to make those elements to make my formula. And this, okay. So if we look here, ammonia, NH3. Okay. So I'm going to need to get some sodium, or, I'm going to have to get all of these different, I'm going to have to make these elements, H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, hydrogen. I'm going to need two atoms of hydrogen. I'm going to need to have 2 atoms of oxygen and put them together in the compound creator to make it to make hydrogen peroxide. If I don't do it right, if I don't make the recipe right, I won't get what I want. And so it works like it does in real life. But we're in a safe environment. I'm going to tell you, I put some chemicals together, or some elements together, and I caused a big fire. My table caught on fire. My compound creator caught on fire, and I couldn't put the fire out. It was a lot of fun. I was like, "Ooh, this is so much fun." If I had done that in real life, that could have been really detrimental to me and probably anybody else who was around me. So being able to do that within the safe environment of Minecraft, that made things a lot easier for me. Okay. So again, you have your compounds. Okay. Here's our compounds, and with the real chemical formulas for them. All right. And it's moving on. It's showing you all the different compounds that you might need, even more, because there's a lot that are in here. And then what you do is you're going to take those compounds and you're going to mix them together to make products. Okay. And so you can make a heat block. Now, these items here, you can't find them in the inventory. They're not there. You can search for them all you want. You have to make them in order to use them. An ice bomb. If I want to make an ice bomb, I have to make sodium acetate, and I have to have 4 sodium acetate. Okay, sodium acetate, what's that? I have to go back up into my compounds to find the sodium acetate, and then I have to figure out how I'm going to make that using my elements. Do you see the connection here? They want to use something really cool. They're going to have to learn how to use those elements first, combine those elements together into a compound, then take those compounds and mix them together with the lab table in order to make some of these really cool things that they have here. Lots of kids want to use the glow sticks. The balloons are really fun, and it'll show you right here. It shows you what the recipe is. So the recipe for this color torch, it just shows you that you combine a chloride, and it shows you if you want to change the color. If you want an orange, you're going to use calcium chloride. So they have to again, they're problem solving. Now, this lab journal, I would definitely share out with my students. I wouldn't hold on to it myself. I want them to be, have their own copy. It's a PDF. It comes straight from Minecraft Education Edition, and I will give you the link here in just a second. This one is really, really popular. The underwater TNT, that's super popular. The kids love that one because they can actually blow up, underwater. They can go and put TNT in the water, and it will blow up the water and everything. They have a lot of fun with that one. So this is one of the favorites that they like to do. They also have a brewing stand. I haven't worked too much with the brewing stand because you can make antidotes and elixirs and stuff. And the antidotes and elixirs, so let's say that I decide that I'm going to be really brave. I'm not going to do a creative mode anymore. I'm going to do a survival mode. Now, survival says it all. That means I'm going to try to survive because things are going to hurt me. And there are witches in there, and there are spiders in there, and the spiders can have poison. And if they bite me, they may not kill me right away, but I could get a poison. I could be poisoned by that, and I'm going to need an elixir. I'm going to need an antidote. Just like in the real world, right? To help myself. And so I'm going to have to look those things up before I pass away, right? So, or once I do die, if I die, then I can go online and go, okay, what it would be the antidote to this poison by this spider? What could be the antidote to this, this spell that this witch put on me? And, there's lots of answers online because there's a lot of people out there talking about Minecraft. And then I would have to figure out how I can build it. And I would have to use, again, the elements and then the compounds and then possibly things out of my inventory bubbling them down and putting them, into this brewing stand and then drinking that formula that comes out. So again, there's a lot of things that you can do with the chemistry component. This one is really cool. I'm going to show this one to you here in just a second as well. This is a material reducer. So we talked about starting with the elements and moving up, but the material reducer, just like it says, we put the material in, and in this case, they put in grass, and then it shows what elements that grass is made out of. It breaks them down to the smallest elements. And then, so now if I've got like a block of whatever, I pop it in there and then it'll show me what it's made out of. And then that might be helpful for me. It's quartz, okay, or it's, it's sandstone. What's sandstone made out of? Let's see. And it's going to actually tell me what it's made out of. And again, it transfers over to the real world because we know that, very complex things that we use every day are made up of a lot smaller things of those elements. And so it does break it down for you. It's pretty cool how that works as well. I will show that to you. So I recommend you using this, and I'm going to actually go back into the meat right now. Hang on one second because I do have my teacher link here. Let me get it. There it is. And I'm going to go ahead and put it right here in the chat for you. If that's something that you want, all you have to do is download that, and then you can add it to your Google Drive. I use mine a lot. So first of all, are there any questions? And I'm back in the meat now. So are there questions? Does anybody have any comments about what we've seen so far? No, not really. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm hoping that I'm not going too fast, and I'm hoping I'm not giving you too much. With the coding though, again, going back to the coding, even starting with the little guys, watching that, like I said, you've got what's called the coding agent. He's this really little cute robot, and you can say, okay, let's make a move forward one. How are we going to do that? Starting at the basic level. And even some of our older kids, they may not have that much experience in with that logic process, and getting them started with that is pretty awesome. Let's see, is there a special password you give the kids for the worlds? Yes. I don't create them. Minecraft creates them. So if I go back into the world, let me show you again, because I'm hosting. Remember, you have to be hosting a world in order to allow kids have access to it. So here's my join code right here. This is for this world for right now. Also, I need to give a big props to our TIS department because they finally found the error. We had an error last year. We had some people trying to use Minecraft, and some of our teachers were at home and they were trying to host worlds, and they still had some kids that were like at the hub, and they wanted those kids to join. Well, because the kids were inside the district using the district Wi-Fi, and then we had people on the outside using the outside Wi-Fi, they couldn't connect. There was like a barrier in between them. Well, they fixed that now. So if I'm on the network for YISD, I'm going to be able to join a world from somebody who's oh, I see somebody who's joined my world. That's somebody from the outside. So that is now open. Also, if I close the world down and I reopen the world, that code that you just got is gone, because it's kind of like the nicknames that we would give our meats. It's gone. I'd have to rehost, and then it would give me a brand new code, and it's also going to give me a brand new share link if I'm going to use that share link. So every time that you close a world down, just know that your kids are gonna need the new code, because the old code isn't going to work anymore. Okay, that's how that works. Any other questions? Let me get back into the chat. And again, if I don't answer right away, please open up that mic. That's awesome. I'm so glad. I hope Ezra is having fun in there. We had a couple of people in there earlier this week. I was doing a training, and they were using TNT, and I didn't even know it because I was busy talking about Minecraft, because it's something I'm very passionate about. And I went back and I'm like, whoa, they were blowing everything up. How cool. So that you might find some spots where there's lots of missing grass in there. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and resume the game here. And I'm going to walk over here, and I actually need to get into my inventory and search for the material reducer, because I want to get one of those in here. And again, in order to use things, I have to pull them down from the inventory and put them into my hotbar down here at the bottom. Okay. Otherwise, I can't use them. Okay. So there's somebody. Hey. All right, here's a material reducer. I put the material here, and then it's going to reduce it down and then reduce it down. So let me find a material that I want to put in there. So I'm going to go back into my inventory, and we're going to take this off, so I don't need to be searching. And I'm going to, what would be a good material, guys, to search for? What do you think? I'm going to go ahead and do like sandstone. Not sand, smooth sandstone. Okay, there we go. And so now if I click on my material reducer and I take my sandstone, I put my sandstone up here, you'll see what happened here. It's showing that there's silicon, 33 silicon, there's 64 oxygen, and there's 3 more oxygen. So it actually has, it's broken down, and I can break it down even farther. But what's nice about this material reducer is if I need specific elements to make something else, now I can take these elements and I can put them here. Okay, I can take them out, and I can put something else in there, and I can reduce it, and then I can get some more elements. That to me, that's more of a guess tool than it is actually to get the elements. But I want to show you something, and this is just for the teachers. This isn't for the students. So you guys need to close your ears over here with me, okay? I'm going to go back into my inventory, and hopefully I can get the little slider here. There you go. And I'm going to scroll down in the inventory. I'm going to keep scrolling down, keep scrolling down, keep scrolling down. I want you to see what's in here. You see all of this? We don't tell the kids this is in the inventory because we want them to make their own elements and build them. But in the event that you want to save some time for yourself, you can actually pull in all of the elements right from here. This is like the whole periodic table is in there. That's pretty amazing that it's in there. Okay. I think that's awesome. But I never show the kids that, because I want them to build on their own. I don't want them coming and taking from here. Okay, so when I show them, of course, I build it, and then we do it together. But that's for the teachers only, just in case you wanna play around and you want to build something a little more complex. You have that ability by just pulling them in from here. And again, you just click it and then just put it right into your inventory. Okay. Any questions? Any questions? We're getting down to about 10 minutes worth of time here, so I want to make sure we have enough time for everything. So you know what? Let's go ahead and try to build something. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my lab journal because I want to build a balloon. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, and here's a balloon, and here is the balloon. Now this right here, I have to use a like what they call a crafting table to make this, but I have to make a lot of this before I can put it together. So okay, so I need latex. All right, I need 6 latex. Okay, latex is not something that's in our inventory. I can find the helium, and we've got dye. I can find that, but I'm not gonna be able to find the latex. So I'm gonna need to scroll back up here, and it's not gonna be a lab table project. It's actually going to be right up here. It's going to be a compound. So I'm going to look for latex. And I believe it's on the first page. Yes, it's on the first page. It's right here. Okay, so here's latex. And latex looks like C5 and H8. So it's going to be 5 carbon and 8 hydrogen atoms. Okay, that's going to make 1 latex, but I'm going to need to make 6 of them. So I'm going to have to do that a few times probably. So now, which table do I use to make this? I'm going to use the compound creator to make this, because this is a compound. This is not an element. An element is just the one piece. I'm putting those elements together to make my compound. So in order to make the latex, that's C5H8. I'm going to go back into the game here. I called it a game. That's terrible of me. And I'm going to go ahead and pull out a compound creator. Okay. And so now we need to make 5. We need to make 5 carbon and 8 hydrogen. So I already have some hydrogen here. Now, it has to be exact. I have to have the exact number. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So 64 is too much, right? But, 8 times something, I think, is 64. Is that right? I'm going to go ahead and put that up here. But I need to get the carbon. So I'm going to need to get 8 times the carbon. And I believe the carbon was 5. So that means I'm going to need 40 carbon. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to cheat because we're running out of time. And I'm going to go down here to the carbon. And I'm going to put that right down in there. Okay. Back into my table here. All right. I'm going to put my carbon up here. Now I don't need 64 carbon. I just need 40. Okay, so I'm going to take 30. What I did is I held down the mouse and it kind of separated them. I'm going to put 30 in here. And come on. All right. And 9. And we just need 1 more. Come on. Every once in a while. Come on. 1 more. All right. There we go. So we have 40. And then we're going to take the 64 hydrogen. And you'll see it didn't work. Did we not do it correctly? Was it H8 or was it C8? Do you remember? No, let me look. It might be me. I might be incorrect. It is, maybe it's just my eyes. Maybe it's not 5. Here, maybe we should zoom it in a little bit. Let me see. There we go. No, C5H8. All right. I think it's just going to be obstinate today. So I'm going to take them all out. So I just get to 8. You see, we're having to problem solve here. One time it'll work, and the next time maybe 9. Let's go 1 more. 8. Okay, and then for C we need 5. Okay, we need to take off 3 more. 7. Come on. There we go, 5. Ah, yeah, perfect. So now C5H8, and I have latex. And it already gave me 64 of them. So I don't need 64, but now I've got 64 of them, because 64 seems to be the number. That means like you have unlimited amounts of them. Because as long as you have that, keep having that 64, you have as many as you need. All right. So now with my now that we've got the compound, now I can make the balloon. So I'm going to go over here, and now I told you that there's all different types of tables, and it's a little confusing. We have a lab table, and that's for some of the lab stuff. That's for some of those really specialty items. And then we have something called a crafting table, and you're going to be using a crafting table a lot to make a lot of the stuff that you might need in Minecraft. So I'm going to go ahead and type in crafting table. And that's really where a lot of the recipes will come in. All right, I'm going to put the crafting table down. All right, so I know that I need 6 of these. So I'm going to go ahead and you put 1 here. Okay. And put 1 here and 1 there. And all I'm doing is clicking and holding, and it's kind of like cutting it in half and cutting it in half again. The longer that you hold it, the more it will cut it. As you can see, that one went down from 15 to 3. And 1 more. There we go. All right. So now I need to have some dye. If I'm remembering correctly, let's go down to the balloon. Let me zoom down to the balloon. Here we go. So we have our 6 latex, and now we need a colored dye, and we need a helium, and we need what's called a lead. It's like a leash. All right. And I can find the rest of those items in my inventory. So I'm going to, I hope I just crashed my table. Is there an undo? There's not an undo. No, I'll have to do it again. So let me go ahead and do that one more time here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, my inventory, and I'm going to pick the green dye because I like green. And we need some helium. So helium, here's the helium. I'm going to put that in the center. And then we need a lead. And we put the lead right here. And look at that. I have a green balloon. And I'm going to put the green balloon right in there. And you're going to see that the balloon doesn't have a number, doesn't have that 64. You do have some balloons. But what the balloons you can do, I walk over here to this guy, and he'll probably go pretty slow. I can attach him, and now he's going to fly up to this guy. And you can put them all over and have a party. It's just one. They added the balloons just for fun, basically. But they are kind of fun because you have to make them and then you have to build them. So, and you can't find a balloon in your inventory. You actually have to build it in order to use it. Same with some of those other, like the water bombs and the underwater TNT, that kind of stuff. You have to actually build it in order to use it. And I made a green balloon, but I could have made a red balloon. I could have made an orange balloon. I could have used a different color dye, and we would have gotten out the same. Any questions? As we're down to just a couple of minutes here. And I'll stop presenting. And head back in here. Now, imagine you don't have the knowledge of, okay, we're just looking at the lab journal. You're trying to figure all this out. Your kids are trying to figure this out. Would that be absolutely okay? Absolutely. I think so. So you all be learning together. And what better way to figure out how to use a crafting table, how to use the lab table, how to use the material reducer by doing it with your students. So I think this is even if you use nothing but the chemistry component in Minecraft, your kids are learning problem solving skills. They're learning to work together. They're learning so much. They're learning about the elements. They're learning how things are made to get and put together, and learning, the scientific equivalent of what the configuration of what these look like. So I think it's a really good tool to use. And if you need any help with that, you send me an email at mdaniel@ysd.net. I'm more than happy to help you out, get you started with it. My extension also is 40688. You can give me a call and I can help you out with Minecraft, because we're trying to get more people using Minecraft. And we really appreciate you being here today.